Welcome to Family Watch, where we bring you meaningful Catholic conversations on marriage, parenting, and family culture. Ako si Manjo Mendoza ng Educhild Foundation, ang inyong host. Kasama natin ang aking poging co-host na si Hiel Gonzalez.
Thank you, Marge. Kaya na-miss ka namin last time. Wala yung pogi. Well, at Family Watch, we believe that the path to the renewal of society and transformation of the church begins in and through the family by strengthening marriages, empowering parents, and bringing families closer to Christ. Welcome to episode 26, Family Watchers.
Hiel, episode 23, pinag-usapan natin yung temperaments with our guest, with the same guest couple that we have today, no? So kung ang part 1 ay understanding basic temperaments, ang part 2 naman ay application ng kaalaman tungkol sa temperaments ng ating mga anak, no? Para maging mabuting magulang tayo at asawa. So please, Hiel, without further ado, pakilala mo ulit ang ating mga bisita.
Yes, and we're so fortunate, that they agreed to have a part 2. So talagang very interesting tong topic natin. Our couple guest is from Educhild Davao. They have been involved in the parent education and youth formation of Educhild since 2008. Wow, tagal na. They started out as participants and now are moderators for the following Educhild courses. BID or Beyond I Do, First Steps, and Deep. Luis is an industrial engineer with an MBA. He's also a certified financial analyst.
Happily married for 13 years. Si Celine has a master's degree in child development education. She's a former grade school and preschool teacher. At present, she manages the home and takes care of Luis and their 7 children, 5 boys and 2 girls with ages 11 months to 11 years. So, welcome back to Family Watch, Celine and Luis Buenaventura, direct from Davao.
Hello, thank you for inviting us again. And hello to the viewers of Gabay Pamilya.
Thank you, Celine and Luis. So I guess to start, and if you won't mind, siguro we can give our audience a benefit of a summary, lalo na yung mga hindi nakapanood ng ating part 1, to go through very briefly yung short description natin ng 4 basic temperaments.
Yeah, sure. So, meron tayong 4 basic temperaments, no? Ito yung tinatawag na 4 dominant types, no? In actual, we're a mix of each, no? But we normally fall gravitate towards a dominant type of temperament. So, yung 4 basic na yan, number 1 is yung choleric. Ito yung mga typical na very strong-willed na person, no? Pangalawa yung melancholic. Ito yung mga planners, no? Yung very detail-oriented, perfectionist type of individuals, no? And then number 3, yung tinatawag na sanguine. Ito yung mga bibo, mga bata, yung mga life of the party types, no? And finally, we have the phlegmatic. Ito yung mga typical followers, no? Ito yung mga peacemakers usually sa bahay.
Natawa ko, Gil, kasi dinedescribe ni Luis yung sanguine. Sabi niya, ito yung mga bibo. Eh, di ba? You already confessed, no? Sanguine ka, di ba? Ako naman ay melancholic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I just want to say nga, nag-test nga ako before this, sanguine, phlegmatic.
Yeah.
So,
okay, magkakaintindihan na tayo. Okay,
right. So, ngayon, we're now in the application mode of this temperaments. And since we're, of course, the basic goal natin in this episode is more on the formation, the learning, and, modeling or molding, the behavior of our children. But how do these temperaments affect the process of learning and formation?
Okay. So kapag alam natin yung temperament, no, mas matutulungan natin yung bata because we know what approach to apply so that he will learn effectively. So, pwede natin isa-isahin yan per temperament. So, first, sa choleric, no, hindi siya mahirap turuan kasi nga he wants to be the best, 'di ba? Gusto niya to be on top. No, tapos confident siya sa abilities niya. So usually yan yung talagang una magtataas ng kamay, no? tawagin ng teacher kahit mahirap yung tanong, no? And then very competitive 'yan. So ang kailangan nila na i-work on is yung bigyan naman ng chance ang iba kasi nga syempre baka puro na lang siya yung gusto niyang matawag ng
Yeah.
teacher, 'di ba? 'Yun. And then minsan lang, for example, when he's studying, no, dahil nga confident siya sa abilities niya, pwedeng ano, yung masyado siyang relax na ayaw na niya mag-aral. Kasi alam na niya eh, parang
Mm.
ganon. So, pero on the other extreme, pwede ding sobrang goal-oriented niya na puro na lang siya aral ng aral and then dun papasok yung parent na, uy, mag-break ka naman, merienda ka muna. Sobra na yung aral mo, ganon.
Yeah,
So
so
we're really, yung extremes pala yan ang we need to look out for.
Choleric to, choleric yung disorder.
Choleric to,
Yes,
oh.
choleric.
Very practical.
yeah, so generally the child ang pag-choleric ano yan we need to slow him down. Kasi may kusa yan uunahan ka yan gusto niyang mauna So that's the choleric type, no? Yung pangalawa naman is the melancholic, no? So ito yung mga very independent workers to, no? Maasahan mo to pag binigyan mo ng assignment, gagawin nila yan and they're very comfortable doing it on their own, no? And since they're very detail oriented, they like yung mga drawings, yung mga charts, yung mga graphic display, no? Kaya ang magandang learning tool, no, for mga melancholic is yung mga drawing board or notebook, no, kung saan sila pwede magdoodle, no? So yun ang strength nila, no, very detail oriented, no. Ngayon, ang kanilang ano lang usually support na kailangan ano lang on their area of speaking in front of people. Kasi they're usually perceived to be yung mga quiet types and hindi sila hindi innate sa kanila na magsalita sa mga tao. So it's good to expose them to mga maybe public speaking activities, no, para masanay sila makipag-usap sa harap ng mga tao.
I see. Uy, sorry this is off script na pumasok lang sa mind ko. Yung laziness ba, is that a temperament or that's a result of something?
Character yun eh.
Yeah,
Yung
it's
kahit anong gawin mo, tamad. Ganun.
Hindi, alam maganda yun na bagit mo, Gil, kasi nga merong mga temperaments na napaperceive as tamad But it's good that we know temperament because we know that it's a misconception. Like ito mga later we'll go to phlegmatic, no? Phlegmatic kasi sila yung mga relaxed na tao Relaxed na tao, they just
Okay.
want to relax. So people think, ano ka bang tamad naman? No, actually, hindi naman. It's just that they don't have the inner urge always, to be more active. So if we know that, we don't judge the child, no? And hindi naman sa tamad. It's just that ang challenge sa parents to encourage the children, hey, I think we should do more or be more active. So yung tamad here, that's a temperament. Wala yang kinalaman sa bawat temperament.
Thank you.
So
Thank you.
we've done choleric, tsaka melancholic. Tapos na.
Yep, so we go with sanguine.
Sige. So, sanguine naman, they're very imaginative, creative. So, usually, gusto nila ng drama, art. Kasi, di ba, pag drama, parang sila yung center of attention, di ba? And then, gusto din nila yung mga visual aids, no? So, for example, to help them learn, yung gusto nila yung pag nakikita nila lagi, para may recall. So, pwedeng nakapost yung mga visual aids around the room, ganon. Gusto nila ng entertaining na educational videos, no? And then, what works also is yung kailangan nila ng one-on-one time. Since mabilis sila ma-distract, okay for the parent to give them one-on-one time.
So
Okay, yeah.
yung next.
So, yeah, okay. So we go with the last temperament, no, which is phlegmatic. Okay, so
Phlegmatic.
ito mga phlegmatic, no, so okay to kasi they're very comfortable learning in a group or in a one-on-one type of setting, no. So normally pag classroom, yung mga phlegmatic, pwede mong iwan sa classroom yan kasi nga pag alam nila maraming tao, no, they usually blend in easily, no. On one hand, no, um, they need support lang, no, pagdating sa no, sa social skills, no? Kasi ito kasi normally ang mga phlegmatic, they're characterized as mga followers. They don't really speak their mind kasi they just wait, no, for they think of what other people are thinking and they just affirm to what people want them to do, no. So yung personal coaching for the phlegmatic is really to help the child, no, to be more active, and maybe to set goals. Kasi kadalasan ang mga pag yung mga type na phlegmatic, pag hindi natin sila binigyan ng initiative, no, they tend to underachieve. So that's the area where they need help. No, we need
I
encouragement
see.
and inspiration.
Okay.
I see. Is there a tendency for a child to fight, kasi yun nga, you're giving him instructions and the environment para he becomes a much better than ganyan, ano? May tendency ba na mag-hold back ang mga bata o hindi naman?
Actually, I think the child, no, kung ganun nangyayari sa bahay, I think it's more of the parent than the child because the parent may be setting expectations na which are not fitting to the child. So, kunyari ang bata is may pagka-phlegmatic, pero kung ang magulang, no, expect seems to be more of a choleric, oh, kailangan ganyan, ganyan, ganyan ka, no? So ang child will naturally rebel. So it's more of the parent kasi ang child naman, wala namang magagawa ng child, he just follows, wala pa namang
Oo, oo.
direction yan eh. So I would think pag ganyan, it's the parents who should adjust and think, baka naman yung approach ko is I'm expecting
Yes.
differently from the child.
I see, I see.
In
Or
the
in
yeah, go ahead, Celine.
So, or in the classroom, no, it's good to have different assessments so that each temperament can also shine, no? So, for
Oh,
example, um, you can have like four different projects, and then, for example, the child can choose two out of two out of the four, no? Na kung saan sa tingin niya kaya niya gawin yung mga project na yon. So, for example, yung project is about making a brochure. Of course, yung melancholic, gusto yun kasi masyadong maraming details, ganon. Yung isang project, it can be about making a video. So, gusto yun ng sanguine. Ito, gagawa ng script. So, okay yun sa choleric kasi siya yung masusunod. Ito yung script, ito yung script ko, sundin natin yun, ganon. Yun. And then, so, because you have a flexible parang curriculum, edi parang every child can shine. Hindi lang yung parang you give a project and hindi naman lahat ng bata kaya gawin yun.
Oo, parang one
oh,
size fits all approach,
Yeah,
hindi ba?
yeah, oo, tama,
Actually,
tama.
oh.
yung
Ganda nun.
yung
Ganda yun.
yung ano natin ngayon, yung educational system, parang gano'n hindi ba? Hindi
Oo,
naman sinasaalang-alang yung iba-ibang temperaments ng bata. I mean, that's
Mm,
it's a
correct.
sad reality.
yeah,
Yeah, tsaka end of the day, it's just the grades minsan di ba?
yeah,
Basta pag nagtapa, that's it. So,
that's
yung
right.
mga iba, hindi sila appreciated, hindi
Yeah, that's right.
recognized.
Oo.
Ang gandang mga innovation pala ngayon yan, ano ha?
Mhm.
Oo. Okay, ngayon, parenting side.
Mhm.
Is it advisable or is it a must or na alam mo rin yung temperament ng
Yes.
spouse mo? Kasi kung team player
Mm.
kayo, ganyan. How does
Yeah.
that figure out?
Yeah, so meron din tayong mga tinatawag na matches, no, Hill, no, and you're right, no, kung ang bata may temperament, ang mga matanda meron din, no,
Hmm.
it's good to understand, no, our spouse temperament, no, para we minimize mga misunderstandings and we come out more united, no, in the eyes of the child, no, and the key is understanding ano ba yung emotional need ng each type of temperament, no? And we'll go one by one, no, each type of temperament.
Pinag-usapan natin to spouses na.
Yes,
Spouses.
yes.
Okay, sige.
Okay.
Sa asawa, yes. Oh.
Sige.
Dapat
Teka,
30 years ago namin
tawagin ko muna yung
natutunan.
misis ko.
It's too late. Sige, di ba, para sa mga ano.
Never too late.
Ah,
Sige, so for a choleric spouse, no, if you have a choleric spouse, it's good to compliment him and to comfort, lambingin siya. No? Kasi yung motivation niya, kasi 'di ba, is personal achievement. So when you compliment him, it's like, uy, okay pala yung ginawa ko, no? That's how he feels, no? And then, so, it's good also to, wag din siya pahiyain sa for example, nagsasalita siya, tapos you're with a group of people. Ayaw niya yun, yung interrupt mo siya, yung iko-contradict mo siya, kasi mapapahiya siya sa ibang tao. So, better yun if you really have to correct him, yung gawin mo through, pag kayo lang dalawa in the intimacy of your room, no? and then you say to your spouse, you say it in a sweet way. Yung palambing na parang, uy, kanina parang napasobra yung galit mo dun sa isang bata, gano'n, no? So, ayaw niya yung parang, minamaliit mo siya, parang yun nga, yung pahiyain mo siya sa ibang tao.
Mhm.
O kaya, yung wife mo, ginaganon ka, minamaliit ka, ganon. So, dapat ganun din, ano? Either way yun, di ba?
Yes, 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 yes. Oo, tama yun. So, yun ang ano, right, ang next naman natin sa yung melancholic, no? Bale, again, yung melancholic, ito yung mga perfectionist type, no? For some, no, ito yung mga parang drill sergeant, no? Lahat, no? Naka-schedule na kada minuto anong gagawin kasi nakaayos na lahat, no? So, ang kailangan ng mga melancholic usually, no, is reassurance. Reassurance kasi they tend to exaggerate even the small things. So, kaya minsan, pag uwi mo ng bahay, magulat ka, yung asawa mo, na kinakabahan na. Kasi daw yung bahay daw inaanay na. At bakit daw? Kasi may nakita siyang isang gamo-gamo sa bahay. So akala niya yung isang gamo-gamo naging anay na at kailangan na tumawag ng pest control. No? So yung mga
Terminator.
ganyan and hindi naman sa dahil siya no dahil may masama siyang intention. It's just that talaga naturally he's just very concerned with detail. So tayo, knowing that as a spouse, ano lang yan, no, kaya natin, ano lang siya, we just need to say to him or to her, dear, it's okay. Okay? It's okay. Okay lang, no? Let's just look at the silver lining, no, in every situation. We cannot overplan things. Let's just do our best and for sure God will do the rest.
Okay.
Pareho rin ba yan sa selosa o seloso? Diyan ba sila bumabagsak?
I think it's possible kasi syempre worrier siya, 'di ba? So it's
Oo.
possible na parang
Kaya detail, no?
worry siya
Yung
masyado.
pag-arte
Yes.
mo ng konti, yung amoy mo nag-iba ng konti, suklay mo
Oo,
nag-iba
kasi
ng konti.
particular sa detail.
May kahulugan na yun, di ba? Ngayon,
Mm.
naiintindihan ko na.
Sige, tuloy natin. Pangatlo.
Sige. Sa sanguine naman, he wants to,
Yan, si
yung
Hilian.
emotional need niya is to enjoy and to be supported. So, as a spouse, if you have a sanguine spouse, it's good to allow him to have a night out with his friends, no? Pag yung babae naman kung babae naman yung sanguine, yung pa-join mo siya kung gusto niya mag-join ng Mother's Club, Essential Oils Club, kasi they draw energy from being with other people. So, syempre, we also have to, for example, hindi naman pwedeng lagi na lang night out, no? So, maybe within a week, he can plan it na once a week or you can have night out, ganun. And then, hindi naman sa ayaw ng sanguine to help out at home, but we need to support him. Kasi, mabilis siya ma-distract, no? So, hindi naman sa ayaw niya gawin, pero siguro na-distract siya sandali, may nakita siya na gusto niya, gano'n, gusto niyang gawin. So, we just have to bring him back na parang, dear, patulong naman dito, gano'n. So, para maalala niya. So, to remind him to, oh, let's do this chore together, or, yun, that's our way to support him.
The sanguine spouse.
Yes, the
Yes,
sanguine yan, no?
sanguine spouse.
Right. Yeah, and then finally, no, we have the phlegmatic spouse, no. So ito mga phlegmatic, no, well, they're usually the calm type, no, yung mga very relaxed type, no. And as mentioned earlier, no, usually sila yung mga napaperceive as tamad. And again, just because the way they are, no, they're very happy with the status quo. Okay, they don't find the need, no, to change anything, no. Kaya for this one, let's be careful na we don't make any critical judgment about them, no. Ang kailangan ng mga phlegmatic usually, no, is our encouragement and inspiration. Kasi there's a gap normally within themselves. They usually like yung mga inspirational videos, yung mga message they say from ngayon ang dami sa YouTube, no, sa Facebook, no. At naengganyo sila, no. Kaya tayo, we always have to speak words of affirmation to them para maengganyo sila and they can do more things at home.
I see. So, okay, that's the spouse. I think the third question is, baka ganun din no? That once, okay, na-identify mo yung yung kanyang temperament. Now, what are the top of mind risks or challenges that you should be aware of para, you can manage the process accordingly?
Yeah, number one, no, it's to know that temperament does not define the person. Okay? We cannot judge the person. Kasi choleric ka, dapat ganyan ka. Okay? Again, these are all the starting points. Alright? We know these are the tendencies of yung ating anak o ating asawa, no? So let's not put them in a mold na parang ganyan ka. Okay? So we should still be flexible, no, to adjust, no? And then I think the important thing, no, is kailangan merong climate of mutual respect sa bahay.
Mhm.
Yes, and when we talk about respect, no, that's two parts, no. So first is knowing that you and your spouse are different people. You are unique, no. But the second part is the openness to adjust to your spouse. So you cannot say na, I love your spouse, I love you, but ako masusunod, no. So dapat yung open ka din kasi syempre if gusto mo ikaw masunod, doon papasok yung mga misunderstanding. Oo, so important yun yung openness to adjust.
So we cannot be parang condemning, no? So, yeah, so we should talagang understanding and ano talaga, no? Appreciation.
Yes, yes.
Now, this is the last question. Sayang, ang dami pang tanong, no? Pero, ito naman, sa courtship side siguro, no? Are there certain ideal compatibilities or dangerous,
Combinations that work
or high
and
risk
don't work.
matches or combination? Meron ba mga ganun?
Yeah, actually merong although I guess that's more of an after the fact, no, kasi we don't naman choose you as partner because mag-test ka mo ng temperament tapos kung
Yeah.
match tayo saka tayo lumabas, no. So but as to based lang yung mga natural tendencies, ang magandang match is usually yung choleric at yung phlegmatic. Kasi yung choleric gustong masunod, yung phlegmatic gustong sumunod.
Lang.
Okay? Tsaka maganda ring match yung yung melancholic at yung sanguine. Kasi yung melancholic, usually yan yung serious type, and then yung sanguine, yan yung fun-loving na type, no? So, nag-balance out, no? So pag yan yung mga temperament, no, at least siguro meron ng may konting match na. But in any case, no, lahat yan, no, di naman parang maging madali yung buhay ng mag-asawa kahit anong temperament yan. Magkakaroon ng challenges yan, no? And each one has to do his part and to adjust. And kagaya sabi kanina, no, yung respect should come in, no? Dapat may mutual respect. Hindi lang, okay, I love you, dear, no? Pero kailangan ikaw sumunod sa akin. Di ako mag-adjust, bahala ka, no? No, the point is, marriage, no, ayun nga, dapat may understanding and merong openness to adjust to one another.
Yeah.
So, ganun talaga, I guess, once you make that big leap, it takes three daw, di ba, to a marriage, no? The partners and God. So, the respect and the recognition and so on and giving of oneself, you cannot do it, di ba? Kung tayo on our, we really have to rely on God's grace. So that's why, kaya nga, I think that's where the sacrament naman really comes in, di ba? Very important.
Ang lalim naman ng insight mo, Hil, nasira tuloy yung sasabihin ko. Sinasabi ni Luis parang opposites attract Yung seryoso, tsaka fun-loving.
Oo nga.
Isang bossy, tapos isang good follower. Yung gano'n, di ba?
Yin yang.
Tama, no?
Hindi ba gano'n?
Opposites attract. Tsaka wala divorce sa Pilipinas, hindi natin dapat pag-usapan yung compatibility yan. Dahil pag sinabi mo na pag pinagtagpo na ni Lord yan, sila na talaga yan, di ba?
Yeah.
Okay. So, I guess at this point, we can ask you now, Luis and Celine, what are your final short recap and takeaway for itong sa ating session on temperament?
Yeah, so I think to close this session, no, and I would like to thank you, Hil and Banjo, for inviting us. No, we are actually, we just like to quote, no, yung sinabi ng mga Bennets, no, they are the authority and temperaments, no. I think in the US and in many other countries. So sabi nila, no, temperament, no, it gives us a guide, no, so that we can understand our children better. And And with that knowledge, we're able to craft certain rules at home, which will be applicable to each child. But the goal is not to set rules at home, because rules are only as good as far as nurturing relationships. So as firm as we may be when it comes to setting rules per temperament, we should not forget that it's all about cultivating relationships with our child. So we can be so strict, pero if they grow up naman, detached from us, so what's the point, no? And then we failed miserably in our parenting. So we should balance rules and relationship. Kung meron tayong rules, we should always have the flexibility to adjust. Of course, subject to certain minimum right, minimum standard. So yun lang, rules and relationship, that should be in the mind of parents, para when they grow up, they become close to us, and we become more happy families.
How about si Celine? Do you have any final words? Or baka you can share yung favorite yung resource materials, yung reference books ninyo. Maybe you can
Yeah,
cite
like
them. Baka may mga gustong mag-aral pa ng mas malalim or websites.
yeah. So like we mentioned in the first session, no, we we recommend the Book of the Bennets, the temperament that God gave you. Yun yung that can be for you individually, and then the temperament God gave your kids, that's good for parents. And then also the parenting personality plus for parents by Florence Litauer.
Mhm.
Yun, meron din yung for an individual, and then meron din for parents.
So, ang daming
Kasi
ang dami kong
ako,
natutunan dito. Sige, Hilgo.
like ako lang, no? Kasi 7 yung anak ko. Now I'm seeing na I may have focused a bit more on rules. Hindi ko gano'n na-balance on the relationship. So, kasi wholesale eh. Parang the time and the constraints to ganyan. So many times, nagdo-dominant talaga yung rules, di ba? Ganun na lang kasimple. Cuts to everybody. Ngayon, nakikita mo nga as given their age, nakikita mo na more the temperaments and the person, the dynamics na yan. Nakikita ko nga na kung natumbo ko yun, I would have a much better understanding of how to handle and
Actually, Luis and
make the
Celine,
relationship more.
while Hil and I were waiting for you kanina, pinag-usapan namin, alam mo, dapat mas maaga natin ito natutunan in our parenting journey. Kung natutunan natin ito na mas maaga, maybe we would be better parents, better able to respond sa mga needs ng mga anak. Ma-appreciate din natin yung pagiging unique ng bawat isa. Diba? So, thank you very much, Luis and Celine, for your beautiful sharing.
Yes.
And,
Thank you as well. Yeah. Thank you for having us.
imbitahin namin kayo ulit.
Sige. Yeah.
So, as we close this episode with another quotation from Pope Francis in Amoris Laetitia, paragraph 273. He said, "In proposing values, we have to proceed slowly, taking into consideration the child's age and abilities without presuming to apply rigid and inflexible methods. The valuable contributions of psychology and the educational sciences have shown that changing a child's behavior involves a gradual process, but also that freedom needs to be channeled and stimulated, since by itself it does not ensure growth in maturity."
All right. Thank you, Manjo. Thank you, Luis and Celine. Well, for our family watchers, if you've gotten this far, thank you for joining us. If you enjoyed our video, please give us a thumbs up. For comments on how we can improve or suggestions on what topics you would like us to cover, please type them in the comment box below. Please know that we read all your comments. If you have not yet subscribed, please consider subscribing. See you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.